Hey guys, SoCal Val here. Welcome to Velvet Ropes on Wrestling News Co. Today's guest is one of my favorites. I'm not going to lie to you. We've been on camera talking for a good half hour, and I said, this is going to be a giggle fest. We need no questions. We just need time to catch up. I call him D-Love, but you guys know him as D-Lo. He's a huge legend in our business and has done so much for this business. Thank you for being here, buddy.
Val, it is my absolute pleasure. We have talked so much. I'm surprised we haven't talked on camera sooner.
I know.
And yes, for full disclosure, I've gotten 2 coffees.
Yep,
I've sat down and talked. We fixed all the world's problems,
they're done.
and none of that was on camera.
No, no. I did say to Angel, I said, hey, if you want to give us a blooper reel, we got it. We got it in spades here for sure. Well, I just want to say, I don't want to say I'm gonna get emotional because I love you so much, and that's why I call him D-Love because I love him so much. So many things we can talk about, but I just want to say you and I don't know if you know this, you were such a staple on my TV screen as a wrestling fan, and I'm just so honored that now I can call you a friend and a mentor, and you've done so much for our business, for the younger generation of our business. But I hope that you know, to me, you've always just been such a gem, and you've influenced so many young careers, myself included. I hope you know that.
Well, I appreciate that, and I always, and let's talk about you and I. I've known you since, golly, I we've been friends for a minute,
Yeah.
for a hot minute. And I've watched you grow as an individual, as a performer. Um, I was there for special nights in your life when, weirdly enough, I was there the night you met your husband.
Wild. It's all your
So
fault.
wild.
Rockstar Spud. It's all your
I did it.
yeah.
And so to see you how you have grown and how you have taken your spot in this business, I consider myself lucky and honored that I had a small part in that. So from me to you, I'm throwing the flowers right back at you. Thank you, Val.
Love
I
it.
love you. I'm ready to kiss your face.
Oh
I'm
my
ready to kiss your face.
I know, and it's funny because when we schedule these interviews, some people I don't know very well, but most people I do know. But with you, I was like, I'm just so honored to even kind of mark out for you in this way. And there's so much we can discuss about your illustrious career. You've done everything, you've been everywhere. But I want to start with a signature D'Lo move. We got to talk about the head shake.
Okay.
One of the most iconic mannerisms in wrestling history. Was that all you, or was it a creative idea? How did that come about, and how did it become so legendary?
Um, I'll take the second part of that first. How did it become so legendary? I have no clue, but I'm thankful. It just clicked and resonated with the people. As far as the creation of it, there is a great movie that I love very much called Friday. Um, and there's a scene where Debo comes up and asks this dude about it, or his dude asks Debo about his bike, and Debo goes, "Come over here," and he uppercuts him,
Hmm.
and he gets knocked down, and Chris Tucker flies over top of him and goes, "You just got knocked," and he's shaking his head telling you he got knocked out. So, um, one night, Rocky and I were in a hotel room, I forget where we were, and DVDs, always in the background, kinda like music playing, you just throw it in. Friday was playing, so I saw it, didn't think too much of it. The next night on Raw, Rocky is wrestling Ken Shamrock, and Ken Shamrock gets closed over the top, closed on over the top rope. And I know we're going to commercial break because I can hear Jim Ross over my shoulder, and he's pitching to the break. And I see the camera go up on Ken Shamrock, and I go, "Yes, I know the camera's going to be on him." And I just slid up to him, and went, "You just got knocked out." And that was the first time I did the head shake, and I just did it. And I didn't even realize I did it. Um, and there it was. And, Vince McMahon saw it. He took notice of it, told me to keep doing it. Because if it piqued his curiosity, then it piqued a lot of people's curiosity. And right after that, I started with the strut to the ring and walking to the music and turning the volume up. Cause once you're lucky enough to find something in wrestling that connects with the fans,
Yeah.
you got to run with it because your window is this big or it'll be forgotten.
Right.
So I got lucky with timing, and it worked out, and it's crazy. Just the other day I'm walking in a supermarket and I get D'Lo, and someone's shaking their head at me, and it's like it's 30 years later. I'm in my civilian life in a supermarket and someone's still shaking their head. So I consider myself lucky and blessed.
Yeah, it really is, and it's something that stood the test of time. You just mentioned The Rock, and by the way, I'm so themed and silly about fashion, but when I was thinking about what to wear for this, I went, "Oh my gosh, I have to wear my, like, 90s rock."
You got your rock shirt on.
Just
Yes,
giving
that's
you
very.
He's right. It's
It
like
it's
vintage from Australia.
it's right in the vein of that. I spent a lot of time going to Miami in the shops with him to find these damn ugly shirts.
Yeah.
So
Like,
yours is pretty, his wasn't.
it's like a satin dream. I love it so much. But that's genuinely why I thought this would be fun to wear tonight. But we're talking about The Rock. I'm cosplaying as The Rock in true fashion here. But I mean, let's talk about The Rock's rise because you had a front row seat
Yeah.
to his comeuppance, his insane career just blowing up, entirely. Was there a specific moment though where everyone in the nation realized this guy's about to be the biggest star in the world? We're talking in wrestling. Now he's, one of the biggest stars in Hollywood. But was there a moment where you went, "Oh, damn, he got it"?
No, there wasn't a specific moment where you're like, "All right, this guy's gonna become the biggest thing on the planet."
Yeah.
But what we all saw was the hard work and dedication he had when the camera wasn't on. Um, it was, practicing his promos in a hotel room or listening to popular music and writing down, lyrics that he heard, then hearing him, introduce them in promos the next week and experimenting with stuff that want to be better. It's that extra one percenter that make it to the Premier League, the 1% that make it to the NFL. Not everybody can play football, either American or British football, but it's those one percenters that make it to the next level. He had that trait, that one percenter extra trait, and you saw the hard work, and it was no surprise when the rocket ship went off and he started skyrocketing. And then I just said, you know what? I got the coolest job in the world because I got a front seat to watching the brightest star in the whole damn universe light up. And it was awesome to have that front row seat.
Yeah, and I don't know what happened to him now. I'm not sure what he's doing, but I'm assuming he's successful wherever he is.
Yeah, he's getting by. I heard he fell on hard times a little bit. Well, but I think he'll be good on the other side.
I think he'll be fine. My mom always says, "Yeah, that friend of yours, The Rock, he's doing very well." And I was like, "Mom, I don't know the Rock book couplet multiple times, but he seems like such a lovely guy." He's one of those people I feel like too, that just you ask anybody. I've asked the Dudleys, a bunch of people about like how was he, and he just has such a stellar reputation. Yours as well. Everyone just has good experiences with you, so that's a testament to you. But if we can talk about something that I wanted to bring up is the chest protector.
Yeah.
Was that born from a real injury of yours, or was it just a brilliant gimmick?
No, no injury at all. It was all courtesy of Jim Ross.
Oh,
Um, so I'm walking through catering one day, and JR's sitting there, and he goes, "Tilo, come over here." And I go sit next to him, and he goes, "You're a really talented worker. You could have matches with anybody. Your in-ring skill is getting really good, but what is separating you from the other 50 great wrestlers we have on the roster?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know." He goes, "I've got an idea." He goes, "What if you're finished the frog splash. What if we injure your chest and now you're wearing this illegal protection device because now you can hit people illegally."
mhm.
And my first thought was, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. They're gonna laugh at me. They're gonna call me Mike Piazza. They're gonna call me Johnny Bench. They're gonna laugh at me. And so I was like, JR, let me think about this. So this is on Monday. So Tuesday, there's catering again. He goes, "You had a chance to think about it?" And I'm like, and I'm thinking, God, please forget about this stupid idea.
Yeah, 'cause you don't wanna offend him either. He's Jim.
I don't want to offend him because this is JR and he's actually thought of something for me.
Yeah.
So I go, let me think about it when I go home this week and I'll let you know. And then one of the few pieces of good advice my ex-wife ever gave me. Um, I went home and I was complaining and I was bitching up a storm and I was like, I don't really want to do this. And she looked at me and she goes, if you try it and it's a bad idea and it fails, it's their fault. If you never try it at all, it's your fault for not trying.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn it, why do you got to be right? Like, why do you have to be, why do you got to make sense right now?
Damn it.
Damn. So I went back to TV the next week and I go, JR, let's run with the chest protector. Let's do it. And then so they built it. And it was like a week or so later, a pay-per-view, Rocky's wrestling, I think Dan Severn, and it's in Pittsburgh. And I got the chest protector on, and the spot is for me to come running out. The ref's gonna take a bump. I'm gonna run out, climb the top rope, a frog splash, Dan Severn, and run away and help Rocky win. So I run out, and people realize, they notice it's me because I'm in street clothes and this thing on my chest. And I hop over the wall, and as I climb up, you could hear a murmur in the crowd. And when I jumped off and frog splashed, the crowd went, "Boom!" And as I hit Dan, I rolled out and I went, "We got something here."
Yeah.
You instantly you could hear it, that it was different than any other frog splash that I'd ever done. And the crowd react to it. And as I'm running back, people are going, "You're not hurt. You're not hurt. You faker. Take that thing off." And then next thing you know, it's 1, 2, 3, Rocky wins. The crowd is booing. And I literally went back to JR. I was like, "I appreciate you giving me this.
Yeah.
And thank you for thinking of me." And it became the most, other than the head shake, the most iconic thing that's about me is the chest protector. And it was an idea I did not want to do and was trying to fight against, but I did it and it worked out. And once again, I've got action figures with a damn chest protector on.
Listen, that's merch. That's Brandon, baby.
Merch, merch.
God bless it. And good old JR, like, I can see though, at first mention, you'd be like, what is he talking about? But he obviously has been around. We're talking about legendary names you've worked with. We're talking about Jim Ross. We're talking about The Rock. I would love to ask you about Owen Hart. We actually just had Natty Night, one of my favorites ever in the business. My gosh, the nicest person ever. But I would love to know, what was the locker room's reaction when Owen Hart joined the Nation? Do you have a favorite story about Owen or working with him?
I First of all, Owen, I love that man so much. And if there's someone who has a bad story or a bad interaction with Owen, I question the person telling the story,
Mm.
not Owen. Because Owen is beloved universally through the locker room. And I tell everybody, even if he was older than you, he was everybody's baby brother.
Oh,
Like, everyone protected Owen because he was just a national treasure. And my favorite Owen story is the one that I tell all the time. I was wrestling him somewhere, some house show somewhere, and I'm beating the hell out of him. Like, I'm hitting Owen like he stole something from me. And every time he's like, "Stop, what are you doing?" And I don't know why. I don't know why I'm nervous.
you're at an 11 that day.
I'm at 11. I'm at 11. We're at a house show. It's supposed to be like a 3.
A live event. You're
A live event. I'm
you
sorry.
give me so much crap and TNA. I'm like, I'm sorry, a live event. We don't call it a house show. We're such workers. What can we say?
It's what we do. It's a vernacular. So I'm wrestling. All of a sudden, he snatches me up, puts me in a chin lock. He whispers to me, he goes, "Look at your boot." And I look down, and my boot's unlaced. Now, for wrestlers, boots being unlaced is like tantamount to your zipper in your pants being undone. So I reached down. I was like, "Damn it. I never let my boots unlace." I stick my finger in there. I stick the boot in there. He's like, "Okay, we're going wrestling again." All of a sudden, he snaps me over again, chin lock. "Look at your other boot." What the hell? My other boot is unlaced. I'm like, "This is so embarrassing." "Oh, and I'm sorry. I'm looking around. Hopefully nobody notices." I slide my other boot in, right? Slide the other lace in. We're going again, going again. Snap mares me over, chin lock. I look down, both laces are in. He goes, "Look at the ref." I look at the ref, his shoe's untied. And I start cracking up.
Cute. I love it.
And I start cracking up. And then Owen he whispers, he goes, "You relax now?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Now let's go have a match." And
Oh my.
now we start working and having a great time. And that's how good of a worker Owen was. He could love you, he could rib you, he could tell a joke all in front of 20,000 people and no one would know.
Wow.
That's how good he was. And till this day, no shade on anybody, no shade on, and I've been in the ring with some of the best. He is the best worker I've ever been in the ring with and had the ability to touch in the ring. He is by far the best I've ever been in the ring with.
Wow. I love that story. It makes him so human, and I love a personal touch to that story because not everyone, including myself, ever got to work with him or knew him well, but that's such a beautiful story. I love that so much. And talking about people that you've worked with that are legendary and amazing, I wanna go back to I'm saying old school, at least back in my day in TNA, you were a part of Aces and Eights, another huge
Yes.
faction. Aces and Eights, I thought was one of the coolest things they ever did. How did that opportunity come about, and how did it compare with the Nation? Like, what was the backstage vibe when they were creating Aces and Eights? I thought it was cool from the get-go. I thought they handled it really well. I thought they gave it a lot of time, that it deserved. Do you agree?
I agree. It was really cool because it was riding off the coattails of Sons of Anarchy,
Yeah.
and which was the hottest show in the country at the moment. So we just jumped right on it. And initially, I was never supposed to be part of Ace and Eights. Um, as you remember, the original incarnation of Ace and Eights was a bunch of young guys under mask.
Yeah.
They would go out there and do
Right.
beat downs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Garrett, um, uh, uh, um, uh, Garrett Bischoff, Wes Briscoe, Doc Gallows, young guys, right? And they were doing these beatdowns, and it wasn't as clean as it could have been. So Eric Bischoff goes, "Hey, D'Lo, you mind putting a mask on? No one will ever know it's you. Go out there and help quarterback these beatdowns so they're cleaner, they look good.
Yeah.
No one will ever know it's you, and you're gonna just teach the guys how to do it the right way." Well, as you know, I have this very unique shaped head. It's not easy to hide.
Signature.
It's signature, yeah,
Classic D-Lo.
it's designer.
Yeah.
Um, so I put a hood on one day and go out there, and as I'm doing the beat down, the hood flops back, and within seconds, somebody go, "D'Lo, is that you?"
No.
"Nope. Nope."
The other D-Lo.
And
Talking about.
it's CeeLo, my cousin.
Yeah.
And so after a while, the TNA fan base was, it was a tight knit group. And when one person figured something out, they told everybody.
Yeah.
So pretty quickly, it was around the arena that, over the next couple weeks of TV, it was me.
But that's
And so,
like to people like my age that like loved watching you. Like it's like even nowadays on WWE, like Jamie Noble will run out, and I'm like, what? That's Jamie Noble.
yes.
It's just cool to see people that that's a huge deal for our generation to see you and know that you're a part of something dastardly like that.
Well, yeah, and that's how it eventually I got unveiled as being part of it because so many people knew it. Then it became part of storyline. It was like, okay, Ace and Eights had an infiltrator in the office, had a spy, me, I was there helping Ace and Eights. It just played well into the narrative. So
Yeah.
a few weeks later, I came out and I was the vice president, and yeah, the rest is history. And comparing that to the Nation, obviously the Nation is number one with a bullet, but man, Ace and Eights is right there in my book as a cool faction that had a buzz in wrestling.
Yeah, and a much deserved success. It was a really cool time to be a wrestling fan and a TNA fan back in the day. But you obviously have been a part of very cool stables. But let's talk about teams for a minute. The Lowdown team, which was you and Chaz Mosh, as we know. You were a team called Lowdown for a while. What's the story behind that team, and why do you think it's so quickly?
I love Team with Chaz. I hated Lowdown. We got put together because both of us were kind of in a lull. And in the beginning, they were going to feature us as a tag team, just an up and start tag team. And we were starting to get some wins. We got wins over the Dudleys and the Hardys. And then, starting to roll, the crowd was starting to get behind us. And then for some reason, Vince McMahon goes, I've got this guy named Tiger Ali Singh who's sitting at home and he needs to be on TV. So let's put him with D'Lo and Chaz. So one month I'm Euro-Continental champion, the next minute I'm Aladdin. And I don't it's a dark period in my career. I don't like it.
It's a fickle
Chaz and
business. Huh?
it's a fickle business. You arrive at a limo and you leave in an Uber.
It's not
And
even Uber Comfort, just the Uber X. That's all it is, bro.
yes, the regular it's Uber Mini.
Yeah.
So it was it was a bad little run. We went about 6 months with it. It didn't work out. Once Tiger Ali Singh got with us, we never connected with the people. In fact, we were, the people just pushed us away. They shunned us because it's just rotten.
Yep.
It's just rotten. And once again, it's one of those deals where if you try it, it's a bad idea. It failed because it's a bad idea.
Yeah, no, that's good advice though to a lot of these. I see, now I'm at the age where I can say these kids that are watching these interviews and they're trying to do something in wrestling. It's like it is about ebbs and flows. Not everything works. Sometimes you have to go through, three-man band, for example. I always talk about that with Drew and look at Drew now, and it was, kind of awkward, at least for me as a viewer. But
Yeah, I mean, but before Kane, there was Isaac Gankum.
yeah,
So yeah, so
I
not everyone's first gimmick hits, not every gimmick launches,
yeah.
and sometimes you got to throw stuff up against the wall and wait till something sticks.
Exactly. Very well said. And I think, again, that's actually really good for youngsters in the business to come and watch this interview and understand that it's not always the glamorous life. But we know about unglamorous road stories, and not everyone is in five-star hotels and being flown around by a private jet. But you've seen it all. You've been on the road for so many years. Who is your favorite person to ride with, and what's maybe a road story you can tell us about? Who are your people in TNA, WWE? Doesn't matter.
Okay, in WWE, my people, it was different times. It went from Mark Henry and myself to Mark Henry, Godfather, Ron, The Rock. Then there was the video game era where it was Kane and Stevie Richards. We would ride together, and this was a good one. So you remember when video games first started getting the flip up screens where you could travel the game with you and take it to hotels?
Yeah.
Well, we had rigged up a converter so you could plug it into the cigarette lighter, and we could put it in the back seat. And so you'd have one guy driving, you'd have two guys playing Madden, and loser, we'd pull over, loser had to get out, they would start driving, the driver would come around and then play, and winner got to stay on. And that's how Stevie Richards and Kane and I would do 3-hour drives, is we would, do it playing Madden at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I just popped
And
the fact that you said cigarette lighter in a car, and I was like, I remember that. People watching
yes,
for that, then you don't know what we're talking about. It's called
yes, if you don't know, you put it in there, and if we were kids, you'd push the button and the coil would turn red hot, and you wouldn't know it. First, you pull it out and go, "Oh, that's pretty orange."
yeah. Then the
Yeah, yes.
yeah, good times. No, I mean road stories. I mean, what about your TNA era? As far as like, who were you closest to around your TNA era?
See, the teen era, I was more office, so I was riding in the minivan of love with Craig Jenkins, Don West.
Craig Jenkins.
Yes, we were in the minivan of love. Jason James and Ryan Hebner, Brian Earl Hebner. That was our minivan,
Yeah.
and that was the group I was with. You know, 18 hours out of every day.
Yeah. Do you remember when Craig Jenkins, and I hope to God we can like edit this and like show it to him. I love him. I thought he was the most charismatic, fun dude. Remember he'd get really mad though, and he'd have the little.
Oh, he'd have the meltdowns, and he would he
It was a stressful job.
it was a stressful job. And explain, Craig Jenkins is he's a smaller statured guy, stout. Uh, but when he got mad, he would turn beet red,
Yeah.
and his glass he'd pull his glass off, and he had this strong Southern accent, and by goodness, when he started cursing you out, it was a Southern tongue lashing,
It was
and
a spectacle. But like in the most
but
hilarious, if it wasn't directed at you, which it never was for me, thank God, it was
yes,
spectacle.
yes, and don't be late for a meet and greet. Don't drag the meet and greet on, and don't be late for Sunday dinner in the arena.
Yep.
Because if you were late for Sunday dinner, Craig would get upset.
Yep.
So you didn't want. And I love Craig to death. I love him. I love him. I'd hug him right now.
Me too.
But yes, watching him explode on people, and I've had it directed at me a couple times. It ain't fun when he's dressing you down,
Legendary.
but
And you
it's
mentioned
fun
Don
when you're
West, one of my favorite people ever. Love Don. Gosh,
Don West. He could sell ice to an Eskimo,
totally.
and the Eskimo would think they got a deal.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
just
Love
one of the most charismatic people I've ever been around. Nicest dude. He's the only person in my 30 plus years of being in wrestling. He's the only person that we were driving in a car one day. We were in Washington State, driving on a highway. He looked at a house and said, "I'm going to live in that house." And by God, 6 months later, he moved to Wenatchee, Washington, and was living in that house.
Whoa, that's badass.
The only person I've ever seen, and I've driven every inch of this country. Never had anybody ever said that. He looked at it and goes, "I'm gonna live right there." And 6 months later, he had left TNA and went to go be the head of promotions for the Wenatchee Wild hockey team,
Yes.
and he was living in Wenatchee, Washington. And That was his house on the highway that he pointed out.
That is the coolest thing. I mean, that's such a badass story. He was such a badass guy. You know, he gave me my best advice. It's I don't know why, it's always stuck with me. He said something about someone was giving him some grief, and he goes, "You know what? It's not gonna rent any space in my head. This is prime real estate." And I went, "Whoosh." That was like he was just a legendary, smart sweetheart of a man.
Yeah.
So much.
Those little nuggets of wisdom that he would drop,
Yeah.
and he would say them so flippantly, but he would teach lessons,
It's
and he was making jokes. Yeah.
that was at the first All In years and years ago, and I just thought, "Oof," because 'cause I'm such a worrier, overthinker, and I'm like, that changed my life 100%. Well, speaking of life changing, I have to ask you about this photo here. I wanted to know, were you there for the 1999 smoke sesh with Snoop Doggy Dogg? This is backstage at WWE Raw. What do you remember about this night? What was he like?
That was Raw in Chicago at the Allstate Arena, and, it's very small. The downstairs is very small. So there's a small hallway, and there's, like, 3 or 4 rooms there, and on the left side is, like, the boys' locker room and then the girls' locker room, and on the right side was, like, production and then Vince's office. Well, since it was a house show, live event, there was no production. So that was gonna be the room where the celebrities would be, and that's where Jesse Ventura was at, and then before Jesse got there, Snoop Dogg was there. And so Snoop comes rolling in, and he's dapping and he's hanging with the boys, and all of a sudden him and Godfather go disappear into this room. And like clockwork, 5 minutes later, the entire bottom bowl of the arena smells of the funk of 40,000 years. It is weed central in this thing, right? And as Vince comes rolling up, walking in, out open the door, here's Godfather, open the door, and it's like something out of Cheech and Chong, a puff of smoke comes out. And as Godfather tells the story, he walked out, looked at Vince, and he goes, "What'd you expect me to do? You put me in the room with them." Vince
God
goes,
bless it.
and Vince goes, "All right, pal," and keeps walking on.
Yeah.
And Godfather just comes out giggling, and here comes Snoop right behind him, eyes drooping, bloodshot, higher than Mount Everest. But it was so cool, and that was in Chicago. I'll never forget it. Never forget it.
I love a story like that. Who doesn't love Snoop Dogg? My gosh. Well, I have to ask, I mean, we're talking about all these legendary people, but you were a part of the legendary Nation of Domination. What are we thinking about the fact that they're not in the Hall of Fame yet? It's got their time pretty soon, right? Everyone agrees. Everyone's going to comment and say hello, of course.
Here's my thing is I believe, not just because 'cause I'm part of the nation. If I wasn't part of the nation, I would say the nation deserves to be in a Hall of Fame. If you look at what a faction does, usually a faction is to elevate one person out of the group, i.e. Flair with the Horsemen. The thing with the nation was every member, and we think about the core unit of Rocky, Mark, Godfather, Ron, and myself.
Mhm. Oh, love Ron.
Every my heart. Every one of us got better after being in the nation. So that shows what kind of foundation the nation gave all of us.
Well said.
And it lifted us all up. And then for the fact that the nation should be in the Hall of Fame because 30 years later, anytime you put a faction of 2 or 3 black guys together, people are already calling it the new nation. That tells you its footprint in wrestling.
Yeah.
And just for that mere fact alone, it should be represented in the Hall of Fame with the other great acts of the last 100 years.
1000%. The footprint is it's such a beautiful way that you just said it. I mean, everyone is going to comment here and say, "Oh my gosh, it's not only is it high time, it's like long overdue at this point." But I have to ask you, I don't know how you're feeling physically, but people that are on Twitter and on X, we have a couple fan questions in a minute. They're all wanting to know, could you do one more match? Are you thinking of kind of getting back in at all, or are you? Is it a?
Look, it's wrestling. Never say never.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy not bumping in the ring, but hey, you never know. The right bank account will get anybody to do anything.
Everybody's got a price.
Everyone, in the words of $1 Million Man, everyone's got a price. So,
So true.
Look, if they bring a European title tournament back, I would definitely go out there and represent.
Oh my gosh, of course. I want any excuse to hang out with my D-Love here in the UK, that would be amazing. But obviously, we're talking about your wrestling career, but I have always known you more so as a, again, influencing young talent and being backstage as a producer and having this fantastic mind and that beautiful head of yours, to shape the careers of the future. But as a producer, you're responsible for helping younger talent. So what's one piece of advice that you learned from your time in the Attitude Era or that yourself, your TNA roster over and over? What's a piece of advice you give to anyone that's trying to get into the business?
When you're given an agent, listen. Please listen, because with age comes wisdom.
Yeah.
And not that everyone knows the right way to do everything. Not everybody has this stuff figured out, but at least you can have a conversation with your agent on the best way to proceed. And if I go back and tell my younger self something, it would be pay more attention to the agents, because long before I was born, those guys were out drawing money somewhere, and they were doing the thing that I'm trying to do, and they were doing it at a high level. So if you're fortunate enough to be given an agent who's got experience on national, international TV, listen to him for a little bit. I was once told by my grandmother, "I've been your age, you've never been mine." And
Oh,
and and
fun.
and that is, when you think about that, it's experience is, you can't match experience. And when you've got someone who has thousands of matches under their belt on multiple continents, in multiple companies, in main events around the world, listen to what they got to say, even if they're older and you don't really agree.
Yeah.
If you take one thing out of the 10 things they say, that one thing might help you.
Yeah, and to kinda, like, check your ego, 'cause I'm not gonna name names, but I saw that even in TNA sometimes, and I thought, well, these are and we were lucky to have people like you and people that had been there and done it. Our agents aren't
Mhm.
like someone from, no offense, just independents. They were, big, big names, which I thought was really cool about TNA. If it's okay with you, I have a fan question for you. This one comes from official SoCal Val. She wants to know, ask how much money would it take? How much money would you need to be paid to spend another night at the Biltmore Hotel in downtown Los Angeles?
You couldn't pay me enough money. You could not. You there. Bill Gates does not have enough money
Tell
to.
the people why. Tell them why. I was like, I'm not gonna preface it with this. I wanted to tell like this, bring it up to you this way because I was like, you have to tell this story.
Okay, so
Iconic story. Set the scene for us, D'Lo.
it is WrestleMania in Los Angeles a few years ago,
Uh-huh.
and WrestleCon is in the Biltmore Hotel, and I had no clue it was in the Biltmore Hotel. So when I get my reservations and all that stuff, I go, okay, I got a hotel. The WrestleCon is right downstairs. No big deal.
Yeah.
So I get to the Biltmore, and as I'm walking down the hallway, I realize this is the hotel they filmed The Shining in, and I go, this is the haunted hotel.
Mhm.
Oh shit. So, not thinking about it, okay?
You were
It's the
tipped
night
off
bef
before this? I don't think I knew this part. You were oh,
No, I know the story of the hotel. It's iconic in Hollywood. I know the story of the hotel.
give it
I've
a
watched doc
there's like music videos, like Ghostbusters was like everything was just
Yes, I've watched documentaries on this hotel. So, it's the night before WrestleMania, we're all down at the bar having, just having drinks, sitting there, chopping it up with friends we haven't seen it, and I'm sitting there with you,
yep.
having drinks, and I'm like, "You know what? It's time to go to bed. It's like 11 o'clock. I'm tipsy. I need to go upstairs." So I go upstairs and get my laptop, and I open it up, and I'm gonna watch a movie. And all of a sudden, in the room next to me, I start hearing a full blown fight. It is yelling, screaming, a guy and a girl yelling and screaming. You can hear things being thrown. So I I call the front desk. I don't want to be a party poop, but you know what? It's late.
Yeah.
And I go to the front desk and I go, ma'am, I'm in room so and so, and I think you guys need to send security up, because it sounds like this room next to me, this man and woman, I don't want someone to get hurt. They're having a full blown fight. And the lady at the front desk goes, hold on. And she comes back. She goes, sir, what room are you in? And I tell her again. She goes, sir, there's no one registered in the room next to you.
No. No, it's
And
o'clock.
and I go, what? She goes, there's no one in the room, and she goes, "You do know the reputation of this hotel." And I go, so then I throw my clothes back on. Now I'm sober. I'm stone cold sober because I'm like, "What?" And now I run back downstairs and I immediately start pounding drinks because I got
That's what I
this
saw
room.
you. You were
And
you're a beautiful black man, but you were white as a damn ghost.
I was a white as a ghost when and I was like, I just had a ghost encounter in my room. So I come down and I'm just pounding drinks because I'm like, if I'm gonna go back here and go to sleep,
Oh my
I'm just gonna pass out. And if the ghost wants me, then they can have me.
yeah. But you know the
So I just
only person there were a couple other people, I wanna say Al Snow or a couple other people had told me over the weekend that weird things happened in their room. Like,
yeah.
somebody saw somebody sitting on the edge of the bed, like, just weird stories. That Biltmore, and God bless, we're not sponsored by them or anything, but I went into one of the elevators there, and it's a beautiful hotel. It's old, but it's, like, creepy old. And one of the elevators opened, it just looked like a murder elevator. I don't know how else to say it. It was just spooky and dilapidated and creepy. Oh,
It is straight out of central casting if you wanna to film a horror film, which they did.
yeah.
And then one of the, where the buffet was downstairs, you would take the elevator down and open up and the buffet was there. Like, people have died in that room. Um, there was a woman from Canada who was found in that hotel who had gone missing in Canada and ended up in the Biltmore.
Oh, hell.
Like, it was like that hotel, I don't even wanna drive by that damn thing. And
Influencer, you're
every time I walk
so
every walk down that hallway to go to my room, it felt like I was in The Shining. I was waiting for the 2 twins to step out and go, to start talking to me.
no.
I no,
I
there's not enough
thought
money on this
that
planet.
you could regale us with that tale. I was like, how do I bring this up? I wanted you to tell the fans it was it's funny now, but at the time, I mean, this is a pretty serious situation. Well, before we let you go, D Love, I love chatting with you, but is there anything we can promote for you? Or I know we're going to follow you on socials and make sure that we're kept up to date. But what's next for you professionally, personally? What are you looking forward to coming up?
Well, I do a lot of backstage work for MLP, Scott Demore's MLP out of Toronto. I love working with Scott, and love working with the talent there. Also, I do a lot of independence. I help with a promotion in California, Corona, California called 3PWA. Help with a company in Denver called Rocky Mountain Pro, and down in Texas, Oklahoma called Texoma Pro. And just follow me on Instagram at D'Lo Brown LFC and on X, Twitter at D'Lo Brown 75, and that kind of keeps you up to date on where I am, what I'm doing. I either talk Liverpool football or I talk Chicago Bears football. That's and what I'm doing.
Do you
Or
remember?
if I make a
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, or if I make a great steak. Go ahead.
Or there you go. Steaks, football, D'Lo, what's not to love? No,
What more can you
yeah,
have?
football. We were at the Milton Keynes Stadium when I met my husband here, and I almost took a photo, and I thought we were at, like, Arsenal or something, and you're like, "Val,
Yes.
with us?" And you're like, "Val, they'll kill you." Now that I live here, you weren't kidding. You saved my life because they take it
Yeah, look,
real seriously.
you are very new to the football culture there.
Yeah.
It is it, in America, we don't have an understanding of how linked this fan bases are to their city, their club, their team. And in America, teams are kind of like part of the city.
Mhm.
In England, teams are literally the city.
Yeah.
Like the ebbs and flows of the team determines the economic status of the city.
And their mood, like, they take it very
Oh yes. Yeah, so a win and the city is happy for a week. A loss,
yeah.
oh, everyone's miserable. And then when you've got a city like Liverpool that's got 2 teams in it, it's like gang wars. Like they just
It's a very
and so
polarizing thing. You guys think that wrestling fans are loyal? My god, this is
oh,
next level.
English football fans are the most incredible, passionate fan base I've ever been around.
Yeah.
And you were gonna tweet out, and I remember you saying, "Yeah, I'm here at Arsenal." I'm like, "No,
I'll kill you.
no!" Like they will drive here right now and come get you.
Yeah, yeah, you saved my life, and you have been, other than just saving my life, you've been such a fantastic friend and mentor, and I just somebody that I really, really love, and I'm gonna cry, love and respect in wrestling. So can I just say thank you for being your lovely self and for shaping the young people in wrestling like you continue to do. I would love to get Scott Demore on here to talk about the Canadian Federation. I've been hearing so many good things about. So thank you for continuing to contribute to the business, D'Lo. We love you so much.
Thank Val, I love you. Thank you. And the cool thing about having my spot in wrestling now is I get to beat and be around and be friends with people like you.
Aw.
So thank you, Val, for all the years of being my friend. If I could hug you through this laptop right now, I would.
No.
Big hugs. I'm giving you a hug right now. And you just keep doing your thing. You keep up the grind. You're working your ass off, and I love seeing your success.
Oh, thank you, buddy. And same to you. Wishing you continued success. To all the fans here, make sure that you're following D'Lo on all the socials. And thanks for tuning in here. Comment below to tell us who next you want to see step between the velvet ropes. For Wrestling News Co., I'm SoCal Val, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, D'Lo.
Thank you.